chat, just in, if there's anything pertaining to them.
Thank you, Beatriz.
Absolutely.
Let me know if you need anything else, Beatrice.
Thank you.
So according to my count, it seems like we should be live now. So welcome to our virtual town hall. Thank you for joining us, our SBCUSD families and community. We are so pleased to have you with us this afternoon as we take the opportunity to share a little bit of information and most importantly, hear from all of you with relationship to our distance learning schooling and how that's working for our families. We'll spend most of our time this afternoon in Q&A session with the first about 25 minutes or so, sharing a little bit of information with you. So again, welcome. My name is Lorraine Perez, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. We are so very pleased to have you with us this afternoon. And I would like to introduce Dr. Volkamer to share a few words with us as we get started.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Perez. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy 14th day of school. Hard to believe we've made it through the summer and are almost 3 weeks done with our school year already. These are unique times, and we want you to know that it's not lost on us that the COVID pandemic has put, and the resultant decision to stay in distance learning has put a lot of strain on our families. We totally understand and acknowledge that you are having to do things very differently than you've done them at the beginning of any school year prior to this. And so I want to thank our team for putting this together. We've worked very hard over the summer. Typically we get a little rest over the summer. Not this summer. Our teams have been working very, very hard to develop distance learning 2.0 to create a new desired state. And what we're going to share with you today in a little bit of information that we're going to provide is what we want to create for our students and our families, what we hope to be there for them. But we know that when we develop programs at the central office, it's not always what you experience in the field on the far end of things. And so we know it's better than the spring. We desire it to be completely great for our students and kids. It's not perfect yet. We'll continue to learn and get better every day, but there are many considerations and many challenges that you're facing. And so our desire is to be as responsive as we can be for our community. And to do that, we need to be good listeners. And that's our objective today. We want to listen to you. We want to learn. We want to understand what you're experiencing in the field and how it is either what we had hoped it would be, or maybe it's not what we had hoped it would be, and then we're going to adjust as best we can. So this is really a great listening opportunity for us. I want to thank you again for being with us today, investing the time, sharing your experiences, thoughts, feedback, and ideas with us. We'll get through this, and we're going to get through it and make it better than ever. And so we appreciate your grace and patience as we really seek to build a great program for your kids. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you that are here today, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you, Dr. Perez. Appreciate the few minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Volkamer. And I also would like to invite our board president, Ms. Gwendolyn Rogers, to share a few words with our community this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you for having me, and thank you for this opportunity just to say hello. I noticed there's quite a few participants on the line, and I just want to first thank the staff and your willingness, as Dr. Volkamer said, to be listeners. And we know when we listen, we learn a lot. And so to our parents, I want to applaud you for tuning in also, because you are the ones that we want to hear your voice. You are feeling it, you're seeing it, you're experiencing it. And the more we know, the better we can get. And so as we've said over and over and over again, we are in this together, and it's more than just saying it, but it is our action. And I know the board was very adamant about having this virtual parent meeting. And so here we are to hear you, to listen to you, and let you know that your voice is very important, because that is how we are, and the only way we're going to get better is by hearing from you. And then as we hear from our students as well, the same thing, we want to know how we can be better in this district. So again, I applaud you. I know you're busy, you're probably Zooming between Zooms, but you're taking the time out to get better, and I appreciate that from you, and I certainly appreciate our district staff. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Rogers. And before we get into the bulk of the meeting, I just want to call everyone's attention to the slide that you see before you, and highlight the interpretation services that we have being offered this afternoon. So please see the directions on your screen as to how to access the interpretation, Spanish interpretation for the afternoon. It's outlined in the steps that you see, the arrows for you to click on the world, and then selecting the language that you prefer, and then muting the original audio. So I want to call our attention for a moment to the two various options that you have as a participant. So we are streaming this live on YouTube. Everybody can see it and access it. But for the live interaction that we will partake in later in the meeting, you will need to join us via the Zoom, actually join us on Zoom to do the live Q&A. So if you have an interest in asking a question, you can join us on Zoom, and you will be part of the live conversation that is happening that will equip you with the ability to ask the question and hear our team's response to that. So that is an option for everyone who is out there. If you want to just watch and listen to how things play out on YouTube, you're welcome to do that as well. But I just wanted to make it very clear, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, how are those people asking questions and how can I ask my question? That's how you would do that this afternoon. So with that, if we can, and we'll come back to this slide in a second, but if we could advance to the next slide, please. I want to lay out our outcomes for the afternoon and let our families know what our intentions are. So Dr. Volkemer, mentioned day 14 of the school year, and we know that about 2 weeks is plenty of time for families to start recognizing how this is working or what may not be working for you. So what we're going to do is we're going to have various folks from our departments share a little bit information, and we've asked that we keep it brief, because this really is a forum and a platform for us to really hear you. But we thought, let's start with a little bit of information, because it's possible that you could get your answers from the quick info session. And then we will move into the opportunity really for all of you to share information with us. So what we're looking for is really for you to share your experiences of distance learning and any questions that you may have. I want to really have us keep in mind that there will be live interaction. So our folks will be doing their best to answer the questions that you have, and you'll hear from quite a few different people. We made every effort to get all the right people in the room for you today. So we have many of the heads of our departments available to answer specific questions. So if you have a question around enrollment, for example, we have the appropriate person to help answer those questions. If you have questions around technology, we have the appropriate folks to answer those questions today. So I just wanted to make sure that our parents knew that you will hear from different people, and that's because we wanted to make every effort to ensure that all the right people are in the room to answer the questions that we know are out there, and then those that we may not have anticipated. So with that, just wanted to set the tone for our time together and let you all know we're really focused on distance learning, and that will be the bulk of our conversation today. So with that, we'll go ahead and move into our next slide, and that involves me now turning it over to some of our directors of our various divisions. And just a reminder, as you're listening, if there's information that you're like, I want more of information around that topic, we will post this presentation along with some other resources on our family engagement website. So you'll have access to it there. With that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Tasha Dwyzon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tasha Dwyzon, and I currently serve as the Director for Elementary Instruction. Today, I want to set the stage for the learning experiences for Distance Learning 2.0 that you can expect for your children. So you can expect lessons that are, and teaching that are planned out and purposeful for your child. They're aligned to the state standards to meet the needs of all so that we cover all of the essential standards by the end of the year. This is for all of our students, regardless of program, which includes our English learners, special education, elementary, and secondary students. You should have picked up learning materials such as workbooks and supplies for your child to write and practice what they're learning with their teacher each day. And each school has a support plan, and teachers are assessing students now as we speak so that they can take the best path to provide that extra support and also to accelerate their learning. You should expect ongoing feedback and communication from your child's teacher. Student work matters and grades will be given. You should expect that every day your child has live interaction time with their teachers for the minutes listed here on the screen, which is typically broken up. They'll do a little bit of teaching and then a little bit of practice and review, and you'll see that throughout the day. Additionally, music and PE continue to be offered to your children, and we also have an electronic digital library in which students can check out books for reading and research available to them. We continue to offer professional development for our teachers that is centered around best practices of delivering instruction virtually. And we want to specifically note that we understand the challenges for each grade level, especially our kinders and our preschool and our TK. So we continually work to strive to meet the needs for all of our students. Next slide, please.
Good morning, parents. I'm Sudha Venkatesan, Director for Secondary Education. All of the information that Ms. Dwyzon shared applies to secondary students also. Even though we are on distance learning, A through G is a priority for all our students. A through G requirements have not changed. So the hold harmless provision does not apply for this school year. So if the students don't complete their assignments or miss them, their grades will be negatively impacted. A grade of C or better is required for successful completion of the A through G coursework. We also strongly urge every student to check with the counselor if they are on track for A through G completion. If a student requires to recover credit, again, the student has to reach out to the counselor to get them scheduled in those classes. Please urge your students to be proactive. Let's not wait for the counselors to call. We can make the initiative and do not have to wait till 12th grade to make up those missed classes. So the longer you wait, it becomes actually more difficult to make up those credits. Also, all student groups have access to all secondary programs, and the credit recovery is offered for English learner students too during every summer. And then all the student groups that includes the ELs and special education have access to the secondary. And then the supplemental English language development classes are offered over and beyond for the English learners to be in the language levels 1 and 2 beyond their regular classes. And now I think it is Hawana, take it away. Next slide, please.
Thank you. Hi, I am Dr. Hawana Lundy, and I am the Director for Special Education. And I just wanted to reiterate that our students are general education students first. So as Ms. Roizan, as well as Ms. Venkatessan mentioned, our students are receiving all of the supports, all of the access to academics that all of our general education students, because our students are students with an IEP, not students who are an IEP. So for our moderate to severe population, they are on a little bit of a different track, and their focus, whether it's COVID or not COVID, is access to functional academics. So our perspective and our approach as a district with the goal of independence is for our students to utilize the materials that they have in their home so they can learn the things that they would need to learn at school, such as cooking, cleaning, being independent, learning how to live their lives in the world. And that's still our focus. And we feel like in the home is really a great place to be able to do that, especially with our parents as partners. And to assist with that, we are putting together sensory kits that we are going to send home with all of our families. We're getting input for teachers, and you should expect that to come in the mail so that you can have additional resources in your home for your students if you have a student that is mod severe. For our mild to moderate and our RSP students, we really like to emphasize that they are general education students first, and the curriculum that is offered by their gen ed peers is the same curriculum that they will use. We do not want them in a separate curriculum. We have additional supports to make sure that they access that curriculum with ease. So some of the things that during distance learning that we have invested in through the working with some of our parents, it's Don Johnson. So that is a tool that allows an overlay so that your student, if he struggles with reading, if he needs additional definitions, if he needs some of the stuff pared down for them, Don Johnson, every student has access to that, and every teacher has access to that. We've purchased Let's Go Learn. That is another resource that we could utilize for your students if they need additional interventions, and it goes at their individual pace. And all of our students with special needs have access to that as well. We've also purchased WonderWorks as well as other personalized tools for your students. And finally, if your student has speech, language, OT, PT, any of the other additional services, we are still moving forward with those. So just like the A through G requirements have not been relaxed, our IDAA is still in effect. So we still are held responsible for making sure that we provide your student with FAPE. So we have purchased Presence Learning, which is a platform that will allow us to give your student their services online. That should be up and running within the next couple of days, and your student should be receiving all of their services that they would normally receive in person over this very comprehensive platform. If we can do the next slide, please. So just to reiterate, I just want to let everyone know that we are sending home supplies and sensory kits. We're starting with our most vulnerable students, so with our mod severe, and then from there, we'll send similar kits that's appropriate for our mild, moderate, and RSP students. So if we can look for those to come. We're also sending home monthly newsletters to keep you updated, and we're updating our website regularly with information. So this week, our IEP should be resuming, and if you have any issues, concerns, or things you just want to make sure are in place for your student, please feel free to contact your site administrator, and you can set up an IEP meeting because we are holding those virtually. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Anna Applegate, and I am the director of the Multilingual Programs Department. And I think hopefully by now you're hearing our theme here, that all of our kids are all of our kids, regardless of program or need. So just as the director shared earlier, English learners are included in all the programs across the district, but I wanted to highlight that specifically the federal government and the state government is very strong about two things with English learners, and that's that we continue to provide access to core curriculum for them, and that they continue to have English language development, or that they improve their English language development skills until proficient. So that's particular to our English learners. And in order to do that, obviously they're included in all the different support and teaching that's going on with all of our kids. All that is embedded into everything that we're doing, both at elementary and secondary. But we also did invest quite a bit in differentiated digital curriculum for them. This is curriculum that helps to accelerate the acquisition of English. It helps kids to be able to access academics through programs that have a lot of support for them, digital learning programs. And we also have additional personnel that help students. We have educational assistants in just about every single school, especially the ones that have the large number of English learners. And we're training them right now, and we're working with them so that they can assist teachers to help students access homework, assignments that are being given. They're doing tutoring, so we're identifying students that need additional tutoring. And our students that are barely learning English, we're also very considerate of their needs, and we're putting together programs so that they're able to access core curriculum with the ed assistants and with our interns as well. Also, every single school has what we call an English learner facilitator. So this is a person at the school that helps to make sure that everything I'm talking about is implemented at the school site, and they help teachers by teaching them strategies and working with them to make sure that they have all the resources that they need. And then I also want to assure our parents that you know that right now state testing is kind of on the back burner and we're not really sure what's going on with that. But it is a requirement that we continue to progress monitor our English learners. And we are doing that through digital portfolios that all teachers have access to. And we've also purchased an assessment specifically for English language learning that teachers have at their disposal so that they can give students as well. And then we also will be implementing the English language proficiency assessment test for California that will be coming soon in the next couple of weeks. So we are keeping a close watch on our English learners and how well they're doing. And then I just want to make sure that our parents know that they can contact our office if they have any additional questions or need any help with translation and interpretation. Thank you. I believe Mr. Greer is next.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Very glad to be with you today. My name is Will Greer. I'm the Director of Equity and Targeted Student Achievement. And our department, and I get a lot of questions about this from African-American parents and just folks in the community who are asking about equity and what the status of it is in this climate. We're still focused on improving outcomes for African-American students by working with our leaders and teachers. We are still guided by the Improvement Plan for African-American Student Achievement, which seeks to improve outcomes for African-American students in third grade reading, math in grades 4, 5, 8, and 9, high school success, especially in integrated math 1, access and success in honors AP and international baccalaureate courses, and of course, family engagement. We're planning some very powerful and exciting events for our parents and community. Our DAC and community engagement schedules will be available soon. We've hired a new secretary in the office and a math equity program specialist who will work directly with teachers and leaders on the mindsets, attitudes, beliefs, and teaching practices that have shown to increase Black student success in math. So we're very excited about that. Lastly, we're creating some exciting professional development as well for our teachers and our leaders. Our trainings are addressing complex issues of race, racism, trauma, wellness, brain-based learning, African and African-American history, and the specific practices and dispositions that support increased achievement for African-American students. So we are working, we are busy, we need your support. We hope to hear from you and see you at one of our DAC or community engagement events very soon. Please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you. And I believe next up, we have family engagement. Technology, excuse me.
Thank you. So good afternoon. My name is Mike Tsu, and I'm the Information Technology Director. I'm here today to share updates with you guys on devices and connectivity for our students as we start the school year with distance learning. The technology department has been distributing and exchanging devices and hotspots to our students throughout the summer. Over the last 3 weeks, 9,300 devices and 2,600 hotspots were either distributed or swapped with our students. In total, the district has distributed over 35,000 devices and 13,000 hotspots to our SPCUSD students. Any students who request a hotspot or a device have been able to get one by appointments, either through their schools or by calling Cybertech at 866-223-8685. Additionally, any students with a non-working device or hotspots have been able to exchange it for a working one via appointment as well. I know that the hotspots being distributed to our students are using the latest 4G LTE technology from Verizon and T-Mobile. In working with the various wireless providers, it was determined that Verizon and T-Mobile have good network coverage for the San Bernardino area. So there are still a number of factors that can affect connectivity, and our team is working with families to address any concerns that come up. However, similar to cell phones, hotspot services is very dependent on weather, terrain, network load, proximity to a cell phone tower, and other factors that should be taken into consideration. Now, the district is leveraging E-rate funding to continue to meet the increasing demand for bandwidth in our district. We continue to hold discussions with different service providers and state and federal agencies to find innovative solutions to close the technology gap for our students. Next slide.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marlene Bikendova. I'm the Director of Positive Youth Development. In terms of attendance, we want every parent to know that your child needs to participate online every single day. We do not want your children to wait until Friday to do work. Your child has to participate every day in order to get marked present. In addition to getting marked present, we want to make sure that your child is mastering the standards. So that is very important that we get them on, that they are participating and really following the school schedule as much as possible. Keep in mind that if your child is very ill and they cannot participate for the day, the same as in the regular school year, you have 5 days to submit an excusal. So you're going to call the school, let them know so that we can put in the excuse if your child is really sick for the day. You have 5 days to get that done. And we recognize that the technology, sometimes you're going to have an issue. If you have an issue with technology and cannot get your child logged in for any reason, the first thing you want to do is call the school as soon as possible so that they can help you get reconnected and get your child back onto technology as soon as possible. And that is it for attendance for now. Next up is Leonard Buckner, who's going to be talking about enrollment. Thank you. Leonard, are you there? So maybe we can move on to the next one until.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was talking, but I was on mute. Okay. So my name is Leonard Buckner. I'm the Assistant Director of Enrollment and Placement Services, and we are here to meet all your enrollment needs from TK through 12. We also have information related to preschool and also information related to transitional kinder. We also provide services in elementary lottery, elementary magnet programs, school transfers, and student records. So if you need any assistance or support, please do not hesitate to call Enrollment and Placement Services. Thank you. Next will be Child Development.
Good afternoon. My name is Latasha Kelly, Director for the Child Development Program. The Child Development Program is currently enrolling children birth to 5 and conducting virtual learning. So all students will receive materials and workbooks. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Latasha. This is Colleen Williams, Director of Student Wellness and Support Services. Wanted to talk to you today about the supports that we have been developing for your students' social, emotional, behavioral needs district-wide. All students are getting supports for SEL or social emotional learning in their classroom setting. We also have counselor supports and ongoing counselor groups happening with smaller groups of students who need additional supports. And then we have many physical and mental health supports developed for students and families in need. Next slide. I'm going to give you a look at those supports there. So for physical health, we have a very nice partnership with IEHP, or Inland Empire Health Plan. And that support actually has a navigator program, which will come out and reach out to the families and see what you need. If you need food support or clothing support, mental or physical health support, they can provide that for you. We also have a program called Hazel Health that is in our schools, but it also has transitioned to your homes. So you can access Hazel Health at home and contact a nurse practitioner or a physician to get your needs met. And the contact information is right there below. There is no cost to you. And so that resource is available, and you can see that person right there on your device at home, whether it's a laptop or a cell phone or a desktop computer. In addition, we have many mental health supports. The Heart Mental Health Team is in our district in Student Wellness and Support Services. And then we have a partnership with Victor Community Services and working with our county behavioral health. And then our newest partner is Uplift Family Services. If you believe that your student is in need of counseling services or mental health therapy, you would contact your school counselor, and they would do a referral through our office to get you the supports that you need for your child. And I am going to pass it to Dennis Warman.
Thank you, Colleen. This is Dennis Warman, Director of CAPS Expanded Learning, and CAPS will commence program on August 31st. We'll have programs for elementary from 3:30 to 6, and our middle schools and high schools from 2:30 to 6. And the activities we're going to offer through Zoom and Google Classroom is homework and tutoring assistance. There's going to be academic programs that includes all the STEM activities, including physical activities, recreational activities, and enrichment and arts activities. And yesterday, actually, I participated in a Zoom jazz class. And then we're also going to offer clever crazes to all students preschool through 8th grade. And if you're not familiar with Clever Crazes, it's a computer-based web program where students can earn Walmart gift cards and other prizes such as athletic shoes, backpacks, and books. And we'll start on August 31st, and it's also going to be open to all students, not just kids who've always been in CAPS. So it's going to be open to all students. So any student all the way through high school that needs any homework help or tutoring, they can go to the individual schools and get that help they need. Thank you.
And good afternoon. My name is Beatrice Gonzalez. I'm the Director of Family Engagement, and the key word for today is collaboration and teamwork. I'm just amazed and just excited about all the support that we're receiving as a whole from all the divisions, and all of it is to support our families. So we are here to support our families. On the left-hand side, you can see on this slide that we have many workshops available virtually to our parents. We have college and career readiness support. We have health and nutrition, mental health. The biggest focus has been on technology. We're supporting the parents with the Aries Parent Portal, with Google Classroom, anything that you need as far as technology and how to support your students in the classroom, we're here to support. So just know that you can reach out to us regarding that. On the right-hand side, we have different resources. We have the distance learning resources that we can connect you with. We have childcare resources, food and rental support. All of these resources and all of these workshops are accessible on our calendar, and everything is at your fingertips. If you go to the San Bernardino City Unified School District website and you click on the parent icon, it'll take you to all of this. We've made it very easy for you to navigate that website, or we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to have all the resources at your fingertips. If all else fails and you still have questions and concerns, call us. Our number is up here, 880-4057. We're here to serve you. We're here to support you with this entire distance learning process. And like I said, I'm just thankful for all the divisions, everyone that's here, and how willing everyone is to support you and to make this distance learning process easier for you. So thank you.
Thank you, team. So with that, I'm actually just going to quickly applaud our team. Our parents and community, you don't know this, but I was meeting with the team. I'm like, we have to be done by 12:30 because we need to make sure we give enough time for our parents to ask questions, because that's really what we're here for. So I just want to applaud the team for doing such a great job getting the most pertinent information and most relevant information for our families. So parents, I understand what you received was a lot of information, and we fully know that, but we wanted to provide some basics of information so that some of those things, may answer the questions that you came into this meeting with. it may not, and we're gonna stay here as long as we need to make sure that we get answers to your questions. So I have seen quite a few questions in the chat, and our team's commitment has been to follow the chat and answer those questions that pertain to your division. So I want to remind our teams, if you'll get into the chat and answer some of those questions, because not everybody's going to feel comfortable to ask their question live. Families, before we actually get into the live Q&A, I do want to let you know that this is not the only time we're extending ourselves to you. All of those people are in charge of the departments that help things run at your student school site. I don't want to deter you from contacting your school. If there's a question specifically for your student's teacher, please, continue to have that communication and communicate with your school's principal as well. And know that we are here supporting the school sites within all of our distance learning efforts as well. With that being said, I'm going to ask that the team put your contact information. I don't know if we had it on a last slide, but I want our families to have a way to get in contact with all of our departments and have those numbers quick and handy. If we have to insert a slide, that's fine. It will be on the presentation that will be posted on the Family Engagement website if we don't have it on this slide in particular. So I just want to reiterate that this is not a one and done. We're here to truly support and ensure that your students are successful and that as a family you feel successful in the distance learning environment. So with that, we're going to move into the portion of our time together that is has the capabilities of as parents and families being able to ask the questions that are on your mind, and we will have folks respond. I think Beatriz I know you have someone on your team who is looking for
Kathleen.
the raised hands. Kathleen?
Yes, Kat,
Okay.
so if you can start looking.
Thank you.
Just as a reminder, if you want to speak, just go ahead and raise your hand and one of my team members will unmute you.
Can you remind people how to raise their hand just in case?
So you can literally just raise your hand like that and still catch you. Or you can go on to where it says reactions and there's a thumbs up and then there's also an applause. So either way, you can do this or you can just select one of the reactions on there and she'll unmute you.
Ms. Gonzalez, is it possible that we stop sharing the PowerPoint because that'll make it easier for us to have a better view of who's raising their hand?
Go ahead and stop sharing the PowerPoint because all the directors are writing down the phone numbers as we speak. So that's fine.
Okay,
yes.
So we have Miss Lisbeth, I seen hand up first. If you want to go ahead and just unmute yourself one at a time as we call your name and then we can start from there. Miss Lisbeth? Okay, Miss Janice Wall?
My question is regarding the times that the students are on. I have two elementary students, one in 5th and one in 3rd. Now, we've been told that they have to have all their, and I'm grandma, so this is like, I didn't retire for this, but anyway, it is what it is. But they have to be done by 3 p.m. Is that a hard and fast rule? Do we negotiate with the teachers? Here's my issue. When they were in school, I could do my run to the pharmacy, I could do a run to the grocery store. Now, because they're young, I'm stuck basically with them until they are finished and they have questions. Is there a way to extend that time to maybe like 5 o'clock? So at 3 o'clock, I can run out and go do something, or gives us a little bit more time before they are, their assignments are due.
Ms. Wall, I would suggest really meeting with the teacher. There should be flexibility allowed for that. Especially, I know some teachers set up their times a little bit different, but I would first reach out to the teacher to see if there is a way. I know some teachers are doing it over a few days and they'll check assignments later on, but we also have allotments too for students that may miss during the day. They're allowed to make up assignments in the evening as well. So I will also put my number in the chat, and if it's a specific need that you have, I have no problem helping you with that.
Radically, like, you know, I need to do a post office run. I need to do a couple things that I can't leave them here for, and I have to take them with me. Okay, thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
Miss Rachel Fix, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? And then after that, we'll go to the raised hands, starting with Miss Geraldine. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, excuse me. I don't have like necessarily a specific question, but I just wanted to know what can be done to accommodate working parents a little bit more. I am usually at work from 9 to 5, and I just had so many issues with the teachers and the technology not accommodating when I'm on after work. I've had a STAR reading test that we've tried to log into after I've gotten home, and it says, oh, you're not doing this during school's hours, which is 9 to 4 or whenever it is. And the teacher gave my daughter half credit on an assignment because it was done at the end of the day when I get home from work. And I just wanted to know what options I have for accommodating a working parent a little bit better. I have spoken to the teacher multiple times, and I know that was the previous suggestion, get with the teacher, they can accommodate a little bit better. But is there a way to say, like, hey, teachers, you have to do this, you have to work with the working parents, or are we just meant to get in line with the distance learning because this is the way it is and this is the schedule that has been set forth?
So I will piggyback on that one as well. I would say that we are here to help and support our parents. At the same time, again, there should be allotments for assignments. What I can do is, if you reach out to me directly and if there's a particular issue, I have, again, no problem with helping to mitigate with that. Also reaching out to the school's principal as well. Just with your situation, with what's going on, and say, hey, I need a little flexibility. I will say the testing piece and what time it's during the time, I can look at that and make sure that I have our assistant director and some of our team is also listening right now, and we specifically can make the accommodation for that. That's a very good point that you bring up. So thank you for bringing that up. And then I did put my name in the chat and my email as well.
So Tasha,
okay, great. I will look for that. Thank you.
So just for clarification, what I heard you say was that for STAR, we have the capability of extending that window so a student could take it beyond the school day, as we know parents' needs. Okay,
yes,
great.
I will
Thank
take
you.
care of that.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and go to Miss Geraldine.
Hi. I have a problem because I have a lot of doctor's appointments and I can't take the kids with me, and I have to find somebody to watch them, and it kind of makes unstable for them. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're trying to transition back with their mom, which is another problem. So right now we're kind of unstable, and there's a lot of distractions for them. Who do we talk to about that?
So this is Lorraine Perez. If I'm going to put my email and my contact info, is it Arismendi? Is that Geraldine? Yes. Okay. Yes. If you'll contact me, because it sounds like there's some different factors, and I would like to be able to hear that out completely so that I can provide some better solutions for you and for the kids. Okay, so I'm going to put my information, if you'll contact me directly, because it's not like one issue that's completely sitting in instruction. We may have some resources to help. So
Okay. Okay.
you can just
Thank you.
call me, okay?
Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and go with Miss Angela on Angela's iPhone.
Hi, mine is somewhat pretty much positive. Um, ours has been going pretty good. I have 3 students who are in elementary, and so far the teachers have done a really good job at teaching and everything. Only one concern is, like, for my first grader, she got, obviously they all got gypped of half the year of kindergarten. Just hopefully when they finally get back to school, just maybe some extra resources to kind of get them up. But again, the teachers for all 3 of them have done a great job of just responding to any issues that we have. So pretty much, that's pretty much all I like to say.
Thank you for your feedback. I'd specifically like to mention Kinder in particular. I can't even begin to imagine having to start your school career, if TK a little different, but Kinder and TK, and having to start it in this manner. And so I second Miss Angela with your kudos to the teachers who've been working very hard to be innovative. I also want to say that each school has a plan in place to be able to meet the needs of their students, especially our kinder and first grade. And we're also providing specific resources and supports for our teachers at those grade levels to be able to support our students as they learn how to read and learn the alphabet and their sounds. And so we do understand how important that is. And we thank you for your feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and go with Miss Cindy Brown. Miss Cindy, if you'd like to go ahead and unmute and ask your question, please.
Thank you. I have actually 4 questions. Is that okay? Is that okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, and you can go ahead with your 4 questions. Thank you.
Okay. Hopefully it will not be too long, but the first one is my husband. He wants to know is there any way to watch the live instruction if our student misses it because of a technical problem, or I don't know, thunder, lightning, whatever. No, I've been watching our Nextdoor app, and a lot of people are losing their internet and they don't have a hotspot. A lot of our students maybe up here don't. I don't know. I don't want to buy one, but is there any way that they can watch it somehow? Like, it's not recorded, I'm assuming that.
Michelle, will you chime in and just share a little bit about our some of the, I guess, constraints that we have around recording some of the live lessons, and then share a little bit about some of the things that are recorded that could be used as a resource?
Absolutely. So we are working through the recording of live instruction. We're doing some research around kind of what our boundaries are. We have to be super aware of student privacy. And so as we're in a live instruction mode, because we have students on the screen,
right,
video may be showing and those types of things, we have to be very conscious of recording and sharing that information in a public format. However, we are working to provide our teachers additional resources within our live platforms that will allow for pre-recorded instruction.
With no kids, yeah.
With no kids. So they could record prior to or prior after instructional videos to then post in your Google Classrooms. As Google upgrades their educational suite, we may also find that we have some additional resources this fall around making things easier to record. So we're hoping that we'll be able to provide more updates around both of those pieces as we get further into the distance learning piece.
Great, thank you for that. My next question is, so some of the kids are going to schools where they have this 9 to 3 thing, and ours is 9 to 12, which we really like a lot. And I want to throw in just some feedback too, like the lady before me, that the teacher's doing such a great job. The PE teacher, the counselor, everything is just set up so well. And the Google platform is great. I really find it to be a good platform. So we can see that so much has gone into doing this well. So we appreciate that. And there's no buts. But the schedule, we were happy that we didn't have to do the 9 to 3 because we are retired grandparents, and we don't want to do this all day because it's like we're in school again. But we are happy to do it. But is there a difference that anybody knows of? Like, why are the schools different? Were they allowed to choose? Are the kids going to learn the same as much, or?
So I'll share, and thank you for the question. So yes, we left flexibility to our schools to work their schedules based on the programs that they offer at their schools, and also based on some of the needs of students. So a student could be getting a smaller group instruction, later in the afternoon as a follow-up to some of the lessons that the teacher's providing to the whole class. So it does vary based on school. And like I said, some of our schools are magnet schools and have specialized art programs. And so they're using the afternoon to really provide those deeper dives into that type of content. Some, schools may be like a STEM school where they have different learning opportunities around science in the afternoon. So it was really difficult to, and actually we didn't want to make a one size fits all for every school because it doesn't work that way. When we were in the physical setting, all of our schools didn't have the same schedule. And so as we moved into the virtual setting, we still allowed for that flexibility with our schools. But I hear what you're saying. As a parent, you're wondering, like, why would that be different? I do want to reassure you that what is there? Oh, great. Yes. Yes. I do want to reassure you that the foundational number of minutes for all of our schools is across the board is the same. It's what's required by law. Okay. So I don't want you to be worried that the kids are going to miss out. It's just and some of the schedules allow for different types of breaks. I think about a kindergarten student, and we talked a little bit about our youngest learners. They probably need more breaks. So if I'm a kinder teacher, I may be teaching for 20, 25 minutes and then giving a 15-minute break so that they can get the wiggles out and do what they need to do, and have them come back and then maybe transition to math. So it looks different based on our students' needs, and we left that up to our teachers. We do trust their judgment in that area.
So anything that arises, would you just go to our school with it, right?
Yeah, specifically to schedules, yes, because we aren't controlling those per se at the district level.
Okay. And then if my granddaughter has any problems with math, there's, I understand there's all kinds of resources, but if I just want a human to help her, is there somebody, a resource within the school that doesn't cost money, or do I have to get a tutor, pay for one, or?
What grade level?
She's in 2nd grade, and that's the only topic or subject that she's okay right now, but the math gets harder, and then you have this instruction, but then you don't go over it, and you know what I mean? It seems really fast, and it may be fine, I don't know, but just what if she needs more help?
I know Ms. Doizon can also address that. We are working on such, we are actually looking at different tutoring options and services. It's not just secondary and elementary, it is also the English learner department, special ed, CAPS. We are all in this together to make sure, how can we, if the students need exactly what you shared here, one-on-one tutoring, we are looking at a possibility of offering that. So you will be hearing from us very soon. We are right now in that work.
Great. And then my last question, thank you so much for being so patient, is the gentleman earlier said something about there's a thing that the kids can do even if they're not in CAPS, and there's contests and prizes and all manner of fun. I just wondered if is there going to be a Peach Jar announcement about that, or has it already come and gone? Or
Hi, this is Dennis.
Hi.
Hi, we're going to send it out to all the students through their Google email account. Right?
Okay.
And we're going to, yes, we're going to establish accounts for them ahead of time with passwords. And
Great.
We'll be working on that next week to have that out to you. The other thing too is if it gets down to where on August there, you can always call me and or call our cell phone number here. It's 909-771-7893.
Okay.
Right? And in the meantime, you can look up Clever, which is CLEVER, Crazes, CRAZES, and they are fully supported by a benefactor, and we've literally gotten thousands of dollars in Walmart gift cards, athletic shoes. We've gotten money for schools, right? And we have an MOU with our board, and we've been using them for. We pioneered it here in California about 8 or 9 years ago, and so it's a great opportunity. So in the meantime, you can go there on their site right now.
Okay.
And start the process. Okay, because it's open to anybody in San Bernardino. Okay.
Super. Thank you so much, and thank you all.
If you need anything, don't hesitate to call.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for asking those questions. Dr. Gutierrez, Ms. Gutierrez and Dr. Lundy, I know that you wanted to go on next because there are some questions specific to special ed. So if you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hola.
Dr. Lundy and Ms. Gutierrez.
Yes, so I guess I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Because we answered the questions and we've been chatting privately, so I don't know. Is there a different question?
Oh, okay. I thought Ms. Gutierrez wanted you guys to do it live, so that's fine. If you answered on the chat, that's fine.
Yes, we answered. Thank you, Beatriz.
Your problem.
Tenía otra pregunta. I don't know if she had another question though.
Oh, solamente iba a aclarar que sí me habían contestado y me gustó que lo hayan escrito también me gustaría que lo escribieran en el chat para que los demás padres lo vieran, la respuesta.
She's just asking she's just saying that her question was answered and that she would like the question posted on the reply or the response to be posted on the chat so that the other parents can see as well. So thank you for supporting her. Selena, if you want to go through the chat to see if there's any other questions.
Thank you. That's what I was going to ask for next, because our families who are watching us on YouTube don't have the benefit of seeing the chat. So if we can do that, thank you.
Yes, and Ms. Liz has had her hand raised if she wants to ask a question while I review the chat.
Hi, yes, I have actually like 2 or 3 questions. The first one is in regards to Hazel Health. I recently had my son with a double ear infection, one of the ears was bleeding, and I have Kaiser and I couldn't get through. But I couldn't find the link. Is it a link or an app, and is this only available on school hours?
Hi, this is Colleen from Student Wellness. And so it is available 24/7 and for all students. So I will put the link in the chat. I think will probably be the easiest thing. And then the flyers are on our district website and on our Instagram page as well. But I'll put it in the chat for you.
Okay, perfect. That would work. Because like I said, I have Kaiser, and even with them with the whole COVID, they don't want the kids going in. It took me a while for them to see him. It wasn't until I told them, well, his ear is bleeding, that he said, okay, bring him in. But it would have been helpful if we'd be able to, get a first assessment, maybe with their Hazel Health. So that helps. Thank you. Also, kudos to our teacher, because she was great about him only logging in when he could, and she was assigning other work and doing everything. Oh, whatever he couldn't do on the live, she was assigning the work on the side. So I appreciate that. I just had one more comment, and it's in regards to, I guess, family engagement does these parent seminars, which I participated twice, once last year, once this year, and it's about Google Classroom. If you guys could tape those things and put it on YouTube or put them on the district website, they would be very helpful, because I don't know how many parents I had that came from my son's class that didn't even know how to log the kids in or access the assignments and stuff. I was able to help a few, but if you guys could put that webinar they put out there about Google Classroom, it'd be so much helpful for a lot of the parents, because they teach you from A to Z how to log in through Clever, how to access assignments, how to check if the teacher has returned the assignments. I mean, they teach you basically everything you need to know to be able to help your child.
Yes, definitely. We will do that. What we're doing, actually, we have tutorials and we have different videos available. I'm going to go ahead and post the link right now. They're on what's called distance learning resources. And if you go onto the San Bernardino City Unified School District website and you click on parents, you'll find an icon that leads you directly to them. It's called distance learning resources, but I'll put the link on here just so that you can access it easily. But thank you for the feedback.
So
sorry, I have one more. It's in regards to them being marked absent. He didn't technically get marked absent because he did participate for most of the class, and whatever he didn't do, he did it asynchronously. But if he was not to participate at all, I still need like the doctor's note, or how does this work? And who do I submit it to?
Hi, this is Marlene Bikendova, the director. Oops, I was meant to put my video on too. The director of Positive Youth Development. So yes, if he doesn't participate because he was too sick, that's understandable for sure. You just want to call the school and do your excusal notice as you would normally do in the regular school year. Did that answer it? I'm not sure I heard all of it.
Yes, no, thank you. That helps.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I can read one of the questions from the chat. How will the district determine when it is safe to return to school? Cases from COVID have been increasing. When the governor decides it is safe, if the district decides to return and a parent is not comfortable with returning, will there be an option to continue remote learning? And that question was from Elaine Baquet.
I can go ahead and answer that. So thank you, Elaine, for the question. And I want to make sure, so I think I heard two parts. I'll take the first part, which is how are we determining when it would be safe to start moving into more in-person instruction. And so as you mentioned, right now we are on, all schools in San Bernardino County are closed per the governor directive. But actually our school board had already moved in that direction prior to the governor, because the positive rates in San Bernardino City and our local boundaries were continuing to increase. So the way we are deciding, and it is, we take the data to our school board and then they make the final decision, is they will not open our schools to in-person instruction until it's deemed safe to do so. So we might come off the county watch list. We have to have a decrease in the 14 days of consecutive decrease of transmission rates in San Bernardino County before we can come off the watch list as a county. But that does not mean that our school district would automatically open after that, because in our enrollment area, the transmission rates may still be higher than the county, or they may be climbing still. So it is very much a local decision, and it's a decision that our school board will take in order to make sure that we are keeping our students and our staff safe and healthy. So that's the first part. It is our school board that will make that final decision, and they are adamant and firm that they will not reopen our schools to in-person instruction until it's deemed safe to do so. And we will do that in collaboration with County Public Health, because they are the ones that provide the data on how the COVID transmission rates are happening in our local enrollment area. So that's the first part of the question. There was a second part. Can I get that reread also, please?
Yes, if the district decides to return and a parent is not comfortable with returning, will there be an option to continue remote learning?
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. And so the option when we move in, we've actually got 4 phases that we said we would offer instruction. Phase 1 is distance learning for all, which is what we're in. Phase 2 is what we're calling distance learning plus, where we would, when safe to do so, so our board would decide, as I explained in the first part, that we can start offering some in-person instruction, and we would offer that to very small groups of students by school based on higher needs, just the children that we know that need to have some in-person instruction, but very small groups, maybe 5 to 7 children in one particular classroom. Then we would move, and when we go into phase 2, to your question, we will still have an option of what we're calling extended distance learning. And so as we get ready to move to phase 2, we will have our principals work directly with their families to find out which parent does not want their child to have any in-person instruction at that time. And then you would go into what's called our extended distance learning. Phase 3 would be our hybrid, where half the time on campus, half the time in distance learning. And phase 4 would return to full person instruction. So we are ready for whatever needs to happen. When it needs to happen right now, we are monitoring the transmission rates through the County of Public Health to determine when we even start to see things start to decrease. And we really encourage you, if you can, to watch the school board meetings. We give every other Tuesday night, we give an update on what the data is looking like for our county and locally, so you can have an idea of if and when things start to drop in terms of transmission rates. And if you can't watch it Tuesday nights, we do have it posted on the YouTube channel that you can watch at a later date. Thank you for the question.
Dr. Perez, can I interrupt real quick? Kat, can you go back to the slide to show parents how to go in for interpretation? Because some parents are asking real quick. So if you can do that, slide 2. Padres, si necesitan interpretación, hay un globo aquí abajo que dice interpretación. Y en cuanto, ahorita les vamos a enseñar cómo lo pueden hacer para que puedan acceder a la interpretación. Pero básicamente hacen clic en el globo que está abajo que dice interpretación y luego después seleccionan su idioma, que en este caso es español, y tienen que seleccionar mute el audio original. Entonces ahí los van a llevar a otro cuarto donde van a tener la interpretación para que puedan formar parte de esta presentación. Entonces, aquí está el modo.
Pero a mí no me aparece.
¿Está hablando por su teléfono?
No, con la computadora.
Okay, Selena, do you want to help with that?
Yes. Miss Anabel, ¿es la computadora de su estudiante?
Sí, dile.
Sí. En el chat yo le puedo llamar y ayudarle con la situación.
Thank you, Selena.
You're
Okay,
welcome,
we're ready to go on. Kat, if you want to go back to the live.
Miss Dr. Lucky had a comment if she still would like to speak.
Yes, so I feel like I'm understanding what Ms. Cervantes wanted. So as I mentioned, we are doing sensory kits, but I think she was saying they need more than sensory. So I'm simplifying it by saying sensory. However, our Mod Severe department, we're starting with them. They're doing a survey of all the teachers and going through to determine what's the best materials that their students would need. And if we need, specific input from parents, we'll take that as well. But really, we're trying to differentiate it by younger students and older students. So we really want to get it right. But we have a deadline like of this Friday to kind of get our kits together so that we can start mailing that out. And once we're done with that, then we're going to look at our mild moderate students and our RSP students, because we want to make sure that whatever materials, and some of it may be online resources as well. So we're also giving our teachers needs assessment so that we can see what distance learning materials, online resources that they need to help their individual classes go as well. So I just wanted to overstate that we're starting with our most vulnerable population, and we're working in conjunction with the teachers and hopefully the families. The teachers are doing that to make sure that what we're sending is appropriate for what the student needs within the classroom. Thank you.
I have another question in the chat from Catalina Castillo. If a teacher decides to go back to school teaching, will my student lose that online instructor if we decide to stay home?
Ms. Castillo, thank you for the question. At this moment, and so we have to work with our teacher union to determine exactly who will be offering the virtual learning when we go into phase 2 or phase 3, and who would be offering the in-person. So unfortunately, we don't have that answer yet. We are getting ready to enter into negotiations with our teacher union for phase 2 and phase 3 to hash out that. But we appreciate the question, because that gives us at least, one insight to a parent's wondering about if you choose extended learning. So more to come on that, and thank you for the question. It does give us important data.
Okay, Selena, is it okay if we take a break from the chat and go to Miss Janice and then Miss Rachel after? They had their hands raised in their video. Go ahead, Miss Janice.
My second question was the time that they're doing synchronous versus asynchronous learning. They're doing a good job. Like I said, I have 2 of them, but it seems like they're rushing to get the information to the kids. And I know there's guidelines. Is that part of the teachers union guidelines, or it's just they're trying to cram so much into that little hour, 2 hours that they're doing, and I'm not sure that they're really comprehending what they're trying to be learning. So then, of course, I'm supplementing or trying to supplement. So is that ever going to change? I don't want to do, like I said in my first question, I don't want to be doing this all day, but if we're going to be here, at least let them be able to grasp the information. So is there any flexibility? Is there any thought into extending their teaching time a little more?
So I can take that question. That's actually a great question. With the switching to the distance learning format, we are really taking a relook at the standards that we need to address, and we are making sure that we are actually reducing some of the standards that we feel that may not directly impact them understanding and them getting a foundation to go to the next grade level. So we are in the process of getting that work done, and we are looking closer. We are looking at the standards now closer to make sure that exactly that doesn't happen. What you mentioned, oh, I have to cover so many standards and I only have this much time. That is one of the reasons when Ms. Dwaizon shared, we have started re-looking at the standards now to see, is this something we can drop during the distance learning and make up after? Will this impact student learning? Those are the questions we are asking ourselves, just to avoid what you exactly said, Ms. Wall. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and go with Miss Rachel, and then we'll go back to the chat. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. I had a question, and I'm not sure if this has been addressed already, but do you guys have an idea of what the typical response time is from the cyber tech help?
This is Mike. Thank you for the question. The response time should be 24 hours, but I understand that there has been an overwhelming number of calls, and so it may take a little bit longer, but our goal is to have a 24-hour response time.
Okay, yeah, because I called at the beginning when school first started because I was trying to get some technology issued because we had not gotten any last year, and I called the second day of school and just got a call back yesterday. So it did take quite a while. I know they have a lot going on, but I was trying to get something for my kids. And I mean, luckily I talked to the administrator at my kids' school at Thompson, and I was able to get them some laptops issued, but I just didn't know if cyber tech was like required to respond at any point, but they definitely took a long time.
No, I'm using those.
Okay, here.
I need that marker. This is all I need. I don't need this. That'll.
Thank you.
Okay,
I think
Miss Kathleen V has had her hand raised for a while. So if she would like to unmute herself, or Kat, can you unmute her, please?
Hi. So I have a couple of things. One is it's more like a praise. I really like how the PE teachers from various schools made like the daily activity videos. I'll have the kids, like my first and third grader, they'll pair up and they'll do their PE together. So I think that's really cool that you have multiple teachers working together. The distance learning question that I had was in regards to like on Google Classroom, like in the evening, if it's like past maybe 6:37, I'm not quite sure the time, it'll say like, it'll go from assigned to missing. Like if it's not done yet, like we had an assignment that we finished kind of late yesterday. And it went from, like I said, it went from assigned to missing, and then we clicked on it, and so it was like turned in late. So can that be extended to maybe 8:30? You know, because sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to complete the assignments with having, you know, 3 kids in different grades and stuff. And I just want to say, man, the teachers, they did an awesome job before, because it's a little hard, but you know, it's nice having the kids home. But yeah, so that's the only question that I had, is if maybe on Google Classroom, if the assignments can be extended, the time, so that way it won't go straight to missing at a certain time. Thank you.
Ms. Cleveland, are you able, I don't know if we have an answer, so I apologize if that's putting you on the spot, but is that something that's a possibility for us within the system?
So it's the Google Classroom settings for individual Google Classrooms and assignments are set by teacher. And so you know, we can work with our site leaders to talk with their staffs about how they have their classrooms set for when the trigger is for missing assignments. But it's usually up to the individual teacher and how they set up their assignment due dates.
Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and go with Miss Lori Para, if you would like to unmute yourself and ask your question. And we just wanna say thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. We're trying to get through, make sure all your voices are getting heard and your questions are being answered. So thank you for your patience. Miss Lori Para, if you would like to go ahead.
Hi. Hi, I just had a question regarding your guys's, I just wanted to know if districts, do they overview like each school's the school class schedules? Like for instance, my daughter goes to Cajon High School, and I really love the way they have their set classes and the rotation, especially towards the end, because they usually end by 11:30, and then from 12:30 to 3, that's their time to get help and support from teachers. So I was kind of wondering, because I know when I have a couple of friends that their kids go to different high schools, they have the support in between the next class, and I feel like it doesn't give enough kids with support. So I was wondering if you guys overview like the whole district's class schedules to kind of see when do they start to, you know, give the kids support.
I'll take that. So as a district, we established like the starting and the minimum time and the instructional minute requirements, and the number of live instructional minutes that every teacher should follow. So these are the broader parameters. And especially with high schools, there are different scenarios and different content areas that the schools need to support. So we left that part for the schools to work on. And then if there is any specific concerns that you have in terms of the support that you need, you can reach out to secondary education. I can put my number down there and my email, and we can work with the school and make sure that the needs are met.
Thank you. Kat, are you there? Is there any other parent that's raising their hand?
Yes, I'm here. We don't have hands raised for right now, but we do have questions and comments still coming in the chat. There's a question: if a student is not logged for the school day due to connectivity issues, will they still be marked absent?
Hi, so this is Marlene Bikendova. Yeah, so if you're having connectivity issues, then you want to, as soon as you can, get a hold of the school to try to get reconnected. So if the child misses live instruction and 2 hours later you're able to get connected, then we're expecting that your child would do the asynchronous work. So if you do the asynchronous work, then yes, you will still get counted as present. So earlier someone asked, what if there's a power outage? If you have an entire day power outage, then you will not be held accountable for that absence. But we would have to be able to verify that. So the power company does communicate with us, and we can verify if you had an all-day power outage. If you have a power outage for a couple of hours and your child misses live instruction, just make sure as soon as you can, get them on the asynchronous work as soon as they can. Then they won't be marked present for that day. Hopefully that answers it.
Nice. Thank you, Marlene. I do see that Dr. Monadas wants to provide a verbal response to some questions that are coming through the chat.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, I lost the name. I think it was Nancy who asked a question.
It was Nancy.
Nancy. The extended learning, and would your child get the same teacher if you went with extended learning that they currently have? And so just to clarify, at this very moment, we don't have that answer yet. We have to negotiate that work with our teacher union. It is our goal to have as much consistency as possible. So I can't say exactly if they would have their existing teacher right now. We are not intending on changing schools, but again, we have to get all of those parameters done with our teacher union. As we entered into phase 1 in distance learning, we took care of those negotiations with teachers so we can get the school year started. So we're going to be sitting down and we're going to be working through that with our teachers. So unfortunately, I don't have the exact answer of yes, no, which teacher, which school, but rest assured that your information, as I shared when Ms. Castillo asked it, is very helpful for us because it lets us know where the parents are coming from. And so our human resource assistant superintendent, Dr. Funches, will be working with our teacher union to find something that works both for our students and our families and our employees. So thank you, and I wish I had the answer, I just don't, not yet.
And on the same note, I just want to read a comment that one of the parents made. This is coming from Dee. She made it in Spanish. She said, discussing with other parents, we're seeing if the students will return to class, and some would not want to. She said she doesn't know until it's allowed, but the idea would be that the teacher could give instruction in the class with the students, but at the same time be connected at home. This way, the students at home could access. So just a suggestion.
We've actually, or maybe I've just imagined that in my mind, but I thought that would be very nice for everybody too. So thank you for that. And as long as we can get the technology, that could be a great way to do this, right? Making sure that the live streaming, if you will, could happen. So thank you to that parent who shared that.
Okay, we have Naomi Bueno with her hand raised. If you'd like to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sí, buenas tardes. Mi pregunta es que la laptop que le proporcionó el distrito a mi niña está fallando. Quería saber si me dan algún número para comunicarme para que se la arreglen o le provean otra.
I'll translate that one. She's basically saying that the laptop that was provided for her student is not working. If there's a number that she may be able to contact or to use for contact purposes.
Beatrice, can you let her, can you ask her to contact me and we'll take care of it for her?
Sí, dice el señor Chu que le va a proporcionar su teléfono de él para que le pueda llamar directamente al departamento de IT. Y ellos son los que se encargan de arreglar o de cambiar los diferentes dispositivos. Entonces ahorita vamos a poner su información aquí. Mike, can you put your number on here again? Él va a poner su número de teléfono para que lo contacte. Se llama Mike Chu. Okay, él es el director de tecnología. Gracias por su pregunta.
We have a question from Linda. She asked it twice. Is it possible for us as parents to get trained? I think we need training and how to do curriculum for teaching at home. We are parents, not teachers, but I think we can learn to handle time and curriculum so our kids will be learning better.
That's actually something Tasha and I have been talking about. And so Tasha, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but yes, definitely that's a very good suggestion. And we actually have been collaborating. All the people that are here are collaborating to meet your needs and to support you. So very thankful for that opportunity. Tasha, you want to speak more to that?
Yes, so that's a great question, and Ms. Gonzalez is absolutely right. We are all working together. We have a series of modules that we're planning within Ed Services and our family engagement offices to make sure that we offer these support to parents. And so please be on the lookout for those. We are in development. In the meantime, I know Mrs. Gonzalez, you have quite a bit going on, and so you know, we do believe in providing that outreach and support to our families, especially in the areas of all of our students, really, and making sure that they're successful.
Thank you. I have a comment from Roxana Cervantes. An observation I made is the classes are bigger than last year. Do you know why? Because I think when the class is bigger, the students receive less attention.
So I'll address that. Our class, the number of students in the class has not changed because that's part of the contract. Ms. Cervantes, we're not allowed to go over a certain number, you know, depending on the grade level. So there may be an experience where your student's class just tended to be lower last year than it is this year, but we did not enroll students in classes because we were in distance learning. We still have to abide by the contract that we have with our teachers union, and not, you know, we're given parameters about how many students can be in each class. So in general, the numbers will not be larger. It doesn't mean that in particular with the class that your child was in last year versus this year, there couldn't be a variance.
And we have to balance classes. Is it by this Friday?
Yes. Well, we have to, yes, start making adjustments to classes. Yes.
There was a question that I think got missed from, I think it was Reginald Woods. Kat, did you see that question?
I am looking now.
While you're doing that, I saw Dr. Funches just came on. Did you want to speak to the?
I wanted to add to that. So thank you, Dr. Perez and Dr. Menares, for chiming in on those answers to the questions. I just wanted to reiterate and confirm, yes, we are balancing out the classes. As you may or may not know, at the beginning of the year, some of our classes are under-enrolled, some are over-enrolled, and we are given 20 days contractually to take a look at where those students can be placed that in the classrooms that have over-enrollment. So it takes us some time to work with each family to figure out what school or which classrooms that those scholars will be placed in. So it's a very, it's a process where we ask parents and get their perspectives and voice when we're transferring. So over the next several days, we'll make sure that all of our classes are balanced out and in line with our contractual classroom numbers.
So if I'm going to chime in again, sorry guys, I got clarity around the question, like really what the question was. So Ms. Cervantes, I believe based on the text messages that I got, was really you were asking about the difference in students that were attending in the spring versus the students attending in the fall, is what I'm being told. So we're glad about that. During the spring, you're right, there were probably less students participating because people were hearing that it wasn't required, and we actually, you know, parents and families thought maybe we were only going to be in this for a few weeks. I think now that we know this is our normal for now, there are more students actively participating in their classes, which we're very grateful for, and we want to continue to encourage. So yes, that is probably highly likely and a very good thing for us as a district. We made a lot of efforts. I know Mrs. Baikandova and the whole student services team have really put a lot of efforts around it, getting as many all of our students back into the classrooms, and we're still putting a lot of energy around that. So help us spread the word, parents. We need for all of our kiddos to be back with us and engaging. So thank you.
Okay, Ms. Monares, I did find the question from Reginald Woods in the chat. Does anyone monitor the classes taught by the teachers for quality control?
And I did address that in the chat. I did answer that in the chat. This is Sudha Venkatesan.
Ms. Powell has her hand raised now. Ms. Powell, would you like to go ahead and ask your question?
Good morning. Good afternoon. I have a quick question that ran across my mind. I don't know if the question was asked and answered, but I didn't hear it. But there may be some schools that are in affiliation with some students that are homeless. And so with the students that are homeless that were attending school, how are they to get their education if they're not attending schools in person?
I believe Angela's on the call.
Yes, thank you. So I was unmuting myself. So I'm Angela Yerkidis, and I oversee our Atlas department. And we have liaisons that have been reaching out to the communities. And one of the things that the school board made very clear was that our foster youth and our homeless youth were priority in receiving devices so that they could learn. So we do have our foster youth who have received devices so that they can learn no matter whether they are in motels or shelters or in unsheltered situations.
Okay. And they will have access to internet?
Yes, they all received hotspots and devices.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I just have one more comment we want to address in the chat. So to confirm, as long as the students are completing the anonymous work in a timely manner, they will be marked as present for the day. My child is in class at this time with 23 other students. It is not practical to ask him to sit in class for 4 hours waiting to participate live.
I did answer that one. That was that from, and I'm going to reach out to her principal for her, Arian Martin.
I believe so. It was forwarded to me. Okay, thank you.
Sometimes, and because it was a a very technical conversation where I'm answering privately sometimes. So that's probably why I don't know if you guys see those. I guess not.
Okay, I have one from Miss Nora. Are you teachers going to have parent-teacher conferences, including our teenagers, via Zoom, so we can see you and them right here, and they can see us as well?
So that's a great question. I imagine that we will be doing parent-teacher conferences different than we have in the past. I'm wondering about the interaction prior to parent conferences, because really the message that we're sending is it shouldn't be at parent-teacher conference the only time that you're interacting with your teacher. In this environment, it's really important and really critical that we have regular and ongoing communication. And whether that's via Zoom or a teleconference, I would hate to say, yes, everybody's going to do Zoom, because I don't know that to be the case. But there will be and should be regular communication between all of our teachers and their families. So if you aren't comfortable waiting till parent conference, the goal is that you're having that regular communication, starting from the very beginning of the school year. And it was our direction and expectation of our teachers that within the first 2 weeks of school, teachers were offering an opportunity for all parents to, have some interaction and connection with our families. So please feel free to reach out. Do not wait. You don't have to wait. That's not what we want. We want there to be regular and ongoing communication.
Thank you. We have a question from GA. Will school counselors be proactively reaching out to students to connect and see how they are doing with distance learning? Kids are being affected by staying home and not having in-person contact, and now adjusting to distance learning again for the start of the year.
Hi there, this is Colleen, Director of Student Wellness and Support Services. I did answer in the chat, but I can answer again just to say that counselors have created their own Google Classrooms as well, and all of the students that are on their caseloads have been assigned. They are still actually working with teachers in the classroom to provide social emotional learning lessons together as co-teachers, and providing small group instruction if needed, as well as referrals to additional services. So rather than wait for the counselor to reach out, if there is an immediate concern or just a concern change in your student's behavior, reach out to your school and the counselor there so that we can get them the services and supports that they need right now. So thank you.
We had a comment from MC. I have a question about sports I would like to ask over the phone. Thanks, Ms. Cooper.
Hello, everyone. This is Ms. Cooper. Hope everybody's day is going well. I have a few questions. One is regarding the sports, when kids return back to sports. From my understanding, the coaches are requiring the kids to get tested for the virus before they're able to play sports, and while they're on the team, throughout the time, they have to get tested as well. Is that an option, a must, or is that still negotiable? That's my first question.
Hi, Ms. Cooper. This is Colleen Williams in Student Wellness. I'll take a stab at this question and somebody else step in if you have further information. We have not outlined the sports requirements yet. Actually, that's something that we're working on right now. And so we plan to release that to our families as soon as it's established.
Okay, thank you so much. And then my second question is that when we do go back into the classroom and some of us will be staying at home, it sounds like, and I could be wrong, that we may not have the same teacher that we're having now, and that the students may have to have a different teacher. So and I know we have to go, you guys have to go do negotiations, but it would be nice if we could kind of get through those negotiations sooner than later, so that if that's the case, our kids can transition to those teachers now and not later. So I guess that was more of a statement than a question.
Thank you for that statement.
And then my third one is that regarding the ESTA department. So I know that a lot of things are coming, especially for African American students, but is there a way that we could tap into some of those things that's going on right now, with me having a 4th grader, and then I have a 9th grader who's in honors and AVID, but is some other resources that we could tap into? I know for me, while my kids are at home, they have to do Black history, so they have a Black history lesson, and that they have to do for me every day. And so it'd be nice, to have some more information or guidance on that. And besides, now with all the departments, I want to tell everybody that I am very pleased on how everybody's handling things. I was upset with the enrollment department. Mr. Leonard, I was really upset with your department, but I know overall that you guys are working really hard to ensure that us parents are getting all the tools we need to make sure our kids are successful at home. And I know it's a lot of hard work, and you guys are working a lot of hours. So I want to thank all departments, whether I have interacted with you or not, but I just want to thank you for all the hard work you guys have been doing, because it's unbelievable. And I could just imagine the things that you guys are going through behind the scenes. So I thank you.
Just real quick, Ms. Cooper, you were one of the people in the back of my mind when it came to working with CAPS. And I know you've been very, very persistent with, just providing homework support to our students. And so just to let everybody know, once CAPS is up and running, they will be providing homework support. So there's going to be a club for the students so they can receive that assistance. So we appreciate your feedback and everything that you're doing. And so just letting you know that we're working on just getting the services that are needed for our families.
And that will be for all students, correct? Because some students don't attend CAPS, like my kids don't attend CAPS. So would that be provided for all students or only for students that attend CAPS?
And that's the goal, and that's what we're working on right now.
Okay.
So there will be more information.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, because our kids do need that extra support, help.
I want to add, Ms. Cooper, I want to thank you also just for your comment, for your feedback. I think your support as a DAC parent has truly been invaluable. As a DAC officer, as the DAC vice president, has been invaluable. We are planning some events, and we're working with some vendors specifically for African-American boys and girls. So we have a vendor right now who's going to be working with one of our high schools to be providing a Black male youth wellness set of supports. And then we also have the Young Women's Empowerment Group that's going to be doing some work with girls at, I think, 3 of our schools. But you and I can talk some more offline if you like. As you and I have talked about this before, a lot of this, I think, kind of is more in the purview of student services. So maybe it's just a matter of us collaborating and working together and figuring out, how we can kind of put our heads together. But yeah, any way that I can support or that ESTA can support, we definitely got your back. So thanks again.
Yes,
and I do not want to miss the opportunity to chime in on something that you said. So this is Marcus Fuentes, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. So thank you for your statement about negotiations and working with our union partners to do what's best for our students. So we'll keep you in the loop on that one. Thank you.
So Ms. Cooper, this is Leonard Buckner, and I'm sorry that you had a challenge with our enrollment process. We did change to a new system here in a very short period of time, but I do definitely appreciate your feedback, and we are continuing to improve. So thank you for that.
And yes, Mr. Butler, I figured you guys were kind of having some issues, and so before I sent you a blasting email, which I really was going to, I just kind of handled it. I did the steps, and I went to the school, and the school was able to enroll to finish enrolling my child. But it was just the customer service and the rudeness of the staff. But I figured that, you guys was going to was going to take care of it. I have faith in you guys. So that's why you did not get that email from me.
Well, thank you for that, Ms. Cooper, and I will definitely continue to work on my staff as it relates to customer service. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I just want to say something real quick. I know I'm looking at the chat and Dee's asking if we can translate the chat in Spanish. So I'm going to switch over to Spanish to speak specifically to Dee. Hay diferentes comentarios acerca de la interpretación de los comentarios. Y lo que les recomiendo es que vayan al mundo y vayan a la sección donde proveemos interpretación para que puedan interpretar todos los comentarios en vivo y no tengamos que esperar. Porque ahorita todo es en vivo y ya después se les puede mandar por correo electrónico o algo, pero ahorita si tienen alguna pregunta de lo que está en el chat, les sugiero que vayan ahí al mundo de interpretación, que seleccionen español para que le puedan interpretar todo en vivo. Gracias. So I'm just suggesting if someone needs translation or interpretation with the chat, for them to go into our interpretation button, so that way they can be interpreted live.
Thank you. We still have a few questions in the chat coming in. And if anyone has answered them already, thank you so much, but we're just gonna double check to make sure everyone's questions are being answered. If all students go back to school when it's time to reopen, do you have a plan on how to accommodate all students while practicing social distancing?
I
see Mr. Vitier. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. Although Mr. Vitier is on now.
Yeah.
Teasing him.
Hi, Eric Vitier. I'm the Safety and Emergency Manager, and I'm overseeing our COVID response. Yeah, so our teams are busy right now in the background while the students are at home learning virtually. Our teams are busy right now arranging the classrooms throughout our entire large school district to make sure that they're going to be ready for our students to keep the distance, have hand sanitation stations, have the sinks ready, have temperature stations ready, and face coverings. We will be providing face coverings for all of our students and staff members. So there's a lot of work going on in the background right now to make sure that we meet all the guidelines that were given to us by the federal government, the CDC, the state government through the California Department of Ed and the California Department of Public Health, and our local public health, San Bernardino County Department of Public Health. So we're following all those guidelines and making sure that all the physical distance measures are in place. And we assure you they will be in place before we bring any of our students back into the district. So thank you for that question.
Thank you. We have Ada Trujillo with the hand raised. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute her. Ada.
Hola, buenas tardes. Yo tengo una pregunta sobre cómo está el distrito apoyándonos, porque la verdad es que yo personalmente estoy teniendo muchos problemas con internet. Nosotros en mi casa tenemos internet, pero no es muy buena, y aquí donde yo vivo no hay muchas opciones. Y nosotros compartimos el hotspot del teléfono, pero igual se nos acaba. Y luego yo pedí en la primaria de mi niño, el que está en primero, nos dieron un aparato, pero realmente no duró ni un día, solo tiene 500 megabytes, creo yo, y la llamada se nos estuvo cayendo y hemos tenido muchos problemas con eso porque ya desde esta semana la maestra de mi niño de primaria está ya tomando también que los niños lleguen a tiempo. Y muchas veces cuesta que uno pueda conectarse porque el internet está muy lento. Y esa es mi pregunta, ¿cómo pueden apoyarnos en eso?
Yo voy a traducir la pregunta, ¿ok? Lo que está diciendo. So basically she's asking about, she's having internet concerns and they're even sharing a hotspot. So she's just noticed that that she's in an area where she doesn't have good connectivity, and now the teacher is asking the students to log in on time, and it's just very challenging. So she's just asking how we can address it or what support the district is providing as far as the internet and connectivity issues.
This is Mike with Information Technology. Can we get her contact information so I can have the team follow up with her, please?
Dice él que si puede poner su información de contacto en el chat y él se va a comunicar directamente con usted para ayudarle. Él es el que está encargado de tecnología y tiene diferentes recursos.
Le acabo de mandar un correo al señor Mike. ¿Está bien si le doy mi número o está bien con el correo que le mandé?
Sí, el correo que le mandó está bien. She just sent you an email, Mike. So she's asking if that's enough information, and I told her that was fine.
Okay, I will follow up.
Okay, entonces espero un correo para saber qué solución podemos tener.
So she's asking if you're going to reply to her email so that she knows what solution, what the solution is.
Yes,
Sí.
we will get back to her.
Sí, él le responde. Gracias.
Okay, muchas gracias. Feliz tarde.
Naomi, bueno.
Oh, perdón, olvidé preguntar hace rato. ¿Están tomando igual de en cuenta la asistencia perfecta? Lo que pasa es que mi hija está en 8º grado y desde el kinder tiene perfect attendance. Entonces ella se frustra mucho como el primer día de clases que tuvo problema con internet. Ella estaba muy estresada y muy ansiosa porque decía que le iban a marcar absent. Entonces ella le preocupa porque tantos años ha cuidado su asistencia. Entonces digo, si le llegaran a poner una falta por alguna accidente de esos en internet, igual la van a tomar en cuenta para que perjudique su perfect attendance que ha cuidado desde kindergarten.
Deje traducirla de la mejor manera que puedo. She's asking about perfect attendance and how this is all going to affect her child who's had perfect attendance since kinder. So, she's just asking because she's had connectivity issues as well, and just making sure that it doesn't affect her child.
For the connectivity issues affecting the child's attendance. So as long as you're doing your best and communicating every time it happens to the school, we will make sure that it doesn't affect attendance if you have no other way to connect.
Let me translate that real quick.
Yeah.
Dice que con tal de que se comunique con la escuela, si se comunica con la escuela inmediatamente no tendría ningún problema. Nomás asegúrese que siempre se conecte y se comunique con la escuela, con la maestra. Dejar de saber que tuvo esos problemas.
Okay,
it'll still affect, what will happen is if we don't fix the issue, it'll still affect their grades and their ability to master the standard. So we really want to work with her and make sure that we do get the technology fixed so we don't keep having that problem.
Sí, nuestra meta es arreglar la tecnología porque no queremos que le afecte académicamente. Eso nomás comuníquese con la escuela.
And then we have Roxana Cervantes. She can go ahead and ask her question. Roxana.
Buenas tardes. Yo tengo 2 puntos que quisiera resaltar. El primero fue ya escrito por en el chat por BERM DL 151, creo. Dice que estoy completamente de acuerdo con eso. Dice hacer prioridad el asegurar que los maestros, en especial de los más pequeños, hagan el aprendizaje divertido. Nuestros niños lo necesitan. Por favor, provean recursos a los maestros.
Okay, deje traducir eso.
Gracias.
She said good afternoon, that she wants to just reiterate an important point that was made in the chat, which basically says that that the teachers need to give priority, particularly the ones of the little ones, to make learning engaging and fun. Okay.
Yeah, can I say too for Ms. Roxana? Yeah, we definitely agree with that. And some of our demonstration teachers for our district, they're creating videos and tips for other teachers to be even more engaging, fun, and make sure that kids want to be logged in with their teachers. So we agree, and we are working on that as well. Thank you.
Sí, está diciendo que estamos completamente de acuerdo y que hay maestros de demostración que están creando videos para apoyar a los demás maestros para que hagan videos que sean más llamativos y que logren alcanzar a los más pequeños.
Sí, gracias. Otro punto sería que como padres, muchos compartimos la idea de que la educación virtual ha sido frustrante, estresante, cansada para muchos de nosotros, pero no todos tenemos la oportunidad de quedarnos en casa apoyando a nuestros hijos. Así es de que me voy a enfocar un poquito de lo que he vivido en mi comunidad y a mi alrededor, que me preguntan cuál es el apoyo de para los estudiantes de los padres que trabajan, que no tienen con quién dejarlos, padres que no dominan el idioma inglés, y que nos den sugerencias de cómo los padres podemos apoyar a los estudiantes.
Sí, deje traducir eso. So she
Gracias.
is talking about from a parent's perspective as far as, virtual learning, that it's been very frustrating for many. And she says that not all parents can stay home. And, that she just says based on her experiences with regards to the community and parents that talk to her, what support are we providing for families that work and for families that don't speak the language?
This is Anna from Multilingual Programs Department. As far as for parents who don't speak the language, they can contact our department if they need additional assistance, which we can give them through our ed assistants. We have ed assistants that speak over 6 languages in our districts that are helping right now. So they can contact, and I put my number in the chat already if they need any specific help in another language.
So está diciendo que ella es la señora Applegate del Departamento de Aprendices de Inglés o el Departamento Multilingüe, y está hablando de que si necesitan ayuda con el idioma, pueden comunicarse con su departamento. Ahí puso el teléfono en el chat, que hay diferentes asistentes educacionales que hablan más de 6 idiomas diferentes. Entonces el apoyo está ahí, simplemente al llamar al departamento. Se les pide que llamen al departamento para recibir ese apoyo.
Ms. Cervantes, Liliana wanted to make a comment. Valenzuela, I'm sorry. Liliana Valenzuela.
Oh, sí, buenas tardes. Pues lo escribí en el chat, pero como veo que es casi imposible que los estén leyendo todos, me gustaría leerlo. Bueno, dice, gracias por este espacio para que nosotros los padres comuniquemos nuestras preocupaciones. En lo personal ha sido un proceso de adaptación un poco difícil, este aprendizaje a distancia. Como madre de 3 niños en este distrito con AIP, nos hemos enfrentado a una serie de dificultades y retos, pero conforme van pasando los días se van resolviendo poco a poco. Y me encantó escuchar el día de hoy que sí se van a otorgar materiales de apoyo a los estudiantes. E invito a los padres, ¿verdad?, que abran esos IP y que quede documentado qué tipo de materiales necesita cada estudiante, ya que el padre, porque ahora está con ellos en casa, se sabe cuáles son las necesidades hoy, ¿verdad? En equipo con nuestros maestros hay que ver qué materiales van a necesitar, y nuevamente los invito a abrir esos IPs.
Que deje
ya
traducir
que no es
esto porque
posible,
luego...
¿verdad?, el apoyo físico en casa. Agradezco enormemente el esfuerzo del distrito, que el distrito ha hecho hasta hoy en esta situación, y sobre todo doy mi empatía y le doy gran valor a la labor que están haciendo los padres en casa. Eso es todo, gracias.
Ok, le voy a tratar de traducir todo, pero si me falta algo ahí me dice. So she's just basically thanking everybody for the opportunity to address, that the district's providing for parents to address their concerns, that it's been a very stressful time for everybody. She's a mom of 3 children on an IEP. There's been many challenges, but she's thankful that they've been able to overcome those challenges on a day-to-day basis. She invites parents to open their IEPs because there are materials that are being distributed by the special ed department. She invites parents to open the IEPs in order for them to know what resources or what materials are needed. And she's very thankful that special ed is providing those resources. And, just again, thankful for the opportunity to voice, their concerns or just their comments in this platform. ¿Me faltó algo? Liliana? Okay, that was pretty much it in a nutshell.
We have 2 more hands. I'm gonna start with Kathleen V, and then LR, I will unmute you next. Okay. Kathleen, you can go ahead.
Okay, I have a quick question. Is there a way on Google Classroom where I can be like maybe link my kids' Google Classroom to maybe my email, so whenever they have assignments assigned to them, I can get it in my email, like the daily agenda, kind of like how Aries does it. Like if you have it set up to where it sends you the things on Friday, like I have it set up for Friday, it'll send me that. But for my little ones who are in elementary school, it doesn't show their activities that they have to do, because it's their teachers use Google Classroom to give us all the information. So is there a way we can link Google Classroom accounts, whether it be 1 student or 3 or 5, however many students a parent has, to their email address, so we can kind of maybe at 7 a.m. or whenever the teacher puts the assignments up, we can kind of mentally go through, okay, my student has to read this, go in their Wonder Book, go in their math book, this is their assignment. So we kind of know what they have to do instead of having to physically log on from our phone or the Chromebook to each account to see their activities. So that's what been my struggle is like I have to go on each account to see what they have to do for the day, and then how I'm going to plan so I can help my 1st grader with their reading, and then my 3rd grader with her reading, and then math and so forth. So if I can kind of not have to log on to everybody's thing, but just kind of have it all in one place like Aries, it'll make it much easier for parents to have it together. Thank you.
So I think Mr. Tu actually put in the chat a link that will help kind of you navigate the Google Classroom piece. There is a component of Google Classroom that allows us to add guardians, and you can add yourself to get those updates and the assignments. The other piece that you can do is download the Google Classroom app to your phone, and you can add the classrooms that your students are in that way, and then you will get updates through the app on your phone as well.
Thank you.
Okay, LR, you can go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question. LR? It looks like we have answered all the questions with participants who has their hand raised.
And the chat, we're answering it as we go, Selena. So if there's anything else, any other questions, they can either raise their hand or they can continue to place it in the chat. But I think we've pretty much addressed everything in the chat as well.
One just came in the chat. I can't access Google Classroom on my phone or tablet, from Diana Enriquez.
Can we maybe get your contact information? I do see that now too. So that we can have somebody reach out to you and work with you personally to see what the issue may be? Or should we, Michelle or Mike, have her contact either one of you? What would you recommend?
Yeah, she can reach out to us, Dr. Perez, and we'll
Can you put that information in the chat? I know you've put it in there before, but if they log in later, they
don't see it.
able to see it. So if you can just replace it on there, thank you. And Dr. Perez, I think that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I was mostly just listening to all of the dialogue going back and forth, and I just have to say that I'm very encouraged by how everybody's come together, our whole SBCUSD community, our parents and grandparents and family members who are helping our students, navigate, the distance learning world, as well as our staff. And I apologize. There were several people that didn't get introduced in the beginning of the meeting, and they were chiming in, and some people maybe didn't even know who they were. So I know many of you do know Dr. Monades, but she was able to help answer a lot of questions related to our opening, and she has taken on the large task of helping guide our district through what reopening looks like. So Dr. Monades, if you'll just maybe so people could put a face to the name.
I keep freezing, so did you just say something to me?
Oh, I did. It's okay. We just wanted you to say hi because you were answering questions and we never formally introduced you.
Oh, my apologies. Good afternoon, everybody. I keep freezing, so I don't know what's going on with my internet right now. But thank you. It was a very informative meeting, so we appreciate you being here.
Dr. Perez, we have Janice Law who's been raising her hand. Also, sorry, I missed her and I missed another parent.
Okay.
Ms. Law, if you can go ahead and go.
I put it in the chat, but I'm a question asker all the time. Is there a way, there's a lot of phone numbers, a lot of emails, a lot of stuff in the chat, links. Is there a way we can get a copy of that or can copy it so that we can, I've been sitting here trying to write it down.
Great question. That's a great question, and we don't want you to have to do that. I did ask the team you couldn't see this because we were doing it after the fact, to put a slide at the end of the presentation with all of our contact information and numbers. So when we post the presentation, it will be there. So that, Ms. Wall, you have that accessible to you, along with some of the numbers that were frequently asked. Like I saw Hazel Health come up quite a bit. We'll get those contact numbers and websites and things in one central place at the end of the presentation.
Okay, and we will it'll save it for us. We can go back and look at it, or?
Yes, you will have to access the presentation, but yes, it will be there.
Okay.
Okay.
And then there is another person on here that has a question. Lino?
Lino, if you can go ahead and ask your question. He's unmuted. I don't know if maybe his device is having a problem. Oh, Lino, are you in the Spanish room by any chance? Is that maybe why we can't hear him?
I ask you something.
Okay, Lino, if you want to just type your question in the chat, because we are unable to hear you.
I think it's the connection because she was trying to say something and it didn't go through. So if they could type it in the chat.
Maybe. Okay. Oh, it says, how could I tell if I were, but then I don't see the rest.
Just go ahead in the Spanish room.
Okay, I see, how could I tell if I were in the Spanish room?
I want to ask you something, if you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Nora, and my daughter who goes to your school is Lindsay. And my question is this conversation with all parents from all grades at school, all grades, or only certain?
This meeting was open for every single parent in our community, all grades, all programs. Yes.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much for everything.
Oh, you're welcome. It's our pleasure.
Thank you. A pleasure too.
So I'm not sure where Lino. Okay. So I also will take this time and as the question comes in, we can pause. That's not a problem. There were a couple of other people that were also, we didn't get to introduce. And I think it's important because we want to make sure that all of our families can recognize who the people are within our district and have some relationship building opportunities. So I know Dr. Funches, you were on with us, and he is our brand new 2 weeks on the job. So happy to have him in the role. Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. So if you'll come online and say hello to our families.
Dr. Perez, I believe he had to enter into a conversation with our union president.
Okay. Also, I apologize, I don't know if Dr. Rodriguez is with us, but she is also new, 2 weeks on the job. In the role she's in now. She's been with our district for a long time, serving as the Assistant Superintendent of Student Services. Dr. Rodriguez, are you with us?
I'm here. Thank you, Dr. Perez. Thank you very much for all the parents who are here today. We know that distance learning is very challenging, and we never thought we were going to be in this situation, and so we appreciate you. Muchas gracias a todos los padres que han venido hoy. Es un placer.
Claudia, ¿me puedes escuchar? ¿Está Leno ahí en interpretación?
Esmeralda,
¿Está buscando la persona que tiene su nombre como Leno? Que está preguntando algo y queremos saber si está ahí.
Sandra, I
Okay,
apologize. Dr. Rodriguez, she went into the Spanish and she doesn't realize that she's being heard.
Not a problem.
Go
Not a
ahead.
problem.
Sorry.
Mucho gusto. Para todos los padres que están ahí, muchas gracias por su apoyo. Sabemos que esta situación no era lo más mejor y no pensamos que íbamos a empezar la escuela en esta manera. Así, muchas gracias por su paciencia, su gracia, y ojalá que nos vemos muy pronto. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. And I just want to recognize these folks because there's so many people behind the scenes just making sure that all of our systems are working and, as best as possible to provide the service and support to our families. So I know I believe that Ginger Ontiveros, who is our communications director as well as some other things. But Ginger, are you with us just to say hello to our families?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Dr. Perez. It's really an honor to be here, and I've really appreciated just hearing the teamwork and partnership that our parents are bringing to the work of educating our students. I can tell you that from a communications perspective, we are trying every way possible to communicate the very complex and changing because new information is coming out all the time, information to you and with you. Today has really been an honor for me to listen to and to learn from. So thank you for all of that you're doing in your homes every day with your kids. I, in my house, have some learners that are online as well, and I can tell you I understand the challenges you're facing, and I certainly am grateful to be a part of this district and working with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And we also have our school police chief, Chief Paulino. Maybe. I'm not hearing him. Is Ms. Christakos with us? Ms. Christakos is making sure that we have all of our finances in order so we can have all of the resources that we need to respond to our distance learning and all of the needs that we have technologically. I don't know if Ms. Christakos is with us.
And when you're ready, Dr. Perez, Lino has resolved her.
Oh, okay. Let me, I'm not hearing either of them. So let me just lastly, not last, but quickly before we give Lino the floor, Mr. Vatir, you heard from Mr. Vatir a few times and a little bit ago. So if he's got a heavy responsibility in all of this. So if you just get a face to the name.
Yeah, good afternoon. I wish this background is exactly where I was at. I just saw it pop up there. It's a beautiful background. That's not my reality right now, but thank you, families, for your patience with us and grace with us. We're all in this together. I have 4 school-age children in my own home, and so working from home and educating from home, we understand your challenges, and we're all in this together. We're here to support you. We want to make sure that when we return, it's in a safe manner and that we're all safe in doing that. And so thank you, and thank you for joining us today for this call. Thank you, Dr. Perez.
Okay, so are we able to get Lino on now? No.
Si nos gusta hablar, ahorita es el tiempo, por favor presione el micrófono para que pueda hablar. O si gusta mejor poner su pregunta en el chat, maybe we can address it in the chat.
Yeah.
She said she would just type.
Okay, okay, yeah.
While Leno is typing, did you want to go ahead and get the question from 7823424?
Sure. I'm not seeing that. So sure, yeah, let's do that.
There.
Bueno.
Okay.
Bueno.
Sí, hable.
Hola.
Oh, sí, yo tengo un comentario y una pregunta acerca de lo que está sucediendo pues con mis hijos en la escuela y lo que nosotros como padres estamos haciendo, y les quiero dar a todos ustedes unas felicidades, los quiero congratular porque están haciendo una labor excelente. Si quiere traducir eso.
He just wants to congratulate everybody. He has a comment and a question, and he just wants to thank everybody that's here. He's just said, just congratulations. You're doing a great job. Okay.
Y también quisiera decir de que yo como padre he visto la labor que ustedes han hecho, y como padre yo no soy muy un experto en la tecnología de hoy, pero hago el esfuerzo, aunque trabajo, hago el esfuerzo para que mis hijos completen todo lo asignado por los maestros.
He's saying that as a parent, he's not an expert when it comes to technology, but he's making an effort for his students, for his children to complete their tasks.
Mi esposa trabaja, mis hijos están desde elementaria hasta la high school, y los dos, mi esposa y yo trabajamos, nos turneamos, y la pregunta que yo tengo para los padres es: ¿cuáles recursos están ustedes utilizando para mejorar la educación que los hijos nuestros están recibiendo? Yo no me puedo quejar de muchas cosas, pero al mismo tiempo comprendo, como yo en mi trabajo, mi esposa en su trabajo, que tenemos responsabilidades en el trabajo y ustedes tienen sus responsabilidades en su trabajo, y la verdad, los hijos son nuestra responsabilidad. Yo no quiero que mis hijos sean influenciados por lo que está externo, porque para mí, en mi opinión, la educación de mis hijos empieza en casa.
Okay, entonces, let me switch hats. He's just saying that, let me just, where I left off, that he has children in elementary all the way to high school, that both him and his wife work, that the question that he has is what resources, instructional resources, do students have in order to learn? And then he says he can complain, about a lot of things, but we all have the responsibility to educate our children. He says education starts at home. And so, just basically what resources do we have available for parents to support their children at home?
¿Eso dice, hijo? No. No. Mi hijo me está diciendo, no, lo que yo estoy preguntando es, ¿qué recursos nosotros los padres estamos usando para mejorar cómo nuestros hijos están educándose?
So he's asking what resources the parents can use to better support their children.
No es eso. No. ¿Qué recursos? No. ¿Qué recursos nosotros los padres estamos buscando? Sí. estamos buscando para ayudar a mejorar la educación de nuestros hijos.
Okay. Entonces, what resources do parents have to improve the education of their children?
O estamos usando, ¿verdad?
Le está preguntando a los padres.
Si me permiten,
yo
podría
Yes, he's asking the parents, what resources are they using to help their children? Amongst themselves, he wants that conversation amongst themselves. He's asking for their opinion too.
Yeah.
Porque nos podemos sentar y echarles a ustedes la culpa de todo lo que está saliendo mal, pero la realidad en todo esto es qué estamos haciendo nosotros para ayudarles a ustedes como para ayudar a nuestros hijos.
Sí, y le agradezco esa pregunta, no la entendía al principio, por eso estaba teniendo dificultad con la traducción.
Okay, no,
pero sí, si hay un padre que gusta, que gusta responder. He's asking the parents basically what resources they're using at home. Like Ms. Applegate was saying, maybe there's something that you can use that you may want to share with other parents to support other parents as well. And basically he's saying we're all in it together. And so, just wanting to know what everybody else is using to make it successful, because he's a working parent as well.
Y yo me puedo, como le dije antes, señorita, yo me puedo quejar que ustedes no están haciendo su trabajo, pero al mismo tiempo mis hijos son mi responsabilidad. Y ellos,
that he can, complain and say that we're not doing the job as a district, but, that his children are his responsibility. So he just wants other parents to share what resources have helped them.
No, que entiendan, que entiendamos que nuestros hijos son nuestra responsabilidad. Mi trabajo es mi responsabilidad. Mi pago de mi casa es mi responsabilidad. Pago de mi carro es mi responsabilidad. De que mis hijos coman es mi responsabilidad. Yo puedo echarle la culpa a todo y a todos, pero no vamos a lograr hacer nada. Y vamos a estar en el mismo hoyo.
See, he's saying that we can blame everybody, but honestly, our children are our responsibility, just like our job is our responsibility. That we can blame everybody, but our children are our responsibility. And I think Roxana summed it up right here. Es un trabajo en equipo, it's teamwork. So
sí, exactamente, somos un equipo. Gracias, hijo. Gracias.
Gracias a usted. Y disculpe que no lo entendía.
No hay problema.
Pero agradezco sus comentarios y su apoyo. Gracias.
Bye.
So with that, I just want to reiterate how the questions that as parents you all asked were great. I just, loved hearing those questions. Some of them really, forcing us to think about how we're going about everything. Some were we had, answers that were, we, had answers for really easily. Some of them we had, with the reopening and things like that, we're doing planning and still working through. But just want to express my appreciation for everybody's time and really the community building that I think happens in this setting. So I saw parents connecting with one another and answering one another's questions and things like that. And that's what we want to exemplify when we're talking about a town hall and all of us coming together. So thank you so much to each and every one of you, parents, families, community, and all of our staff for the love and support that you are coming to this work with. So with that, I don't know if Dr. Volkmer, you have any closing comments?
I just want to say thank you. Echo what Dr. Perez said. When we plan a meeting, you kind of have an idea of what's going to happen, but you never really know. And wow, this was fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted to hear and needed to hear. We're so thankful that you invested the time. We know you have lots of things to do. We know that you have new responsibilities, more responsibilities, and we're just very, very thankful. This is what community is all about. Everybody coming to the same place, talking about issues, trying to figure them out, trying to make it better, all for the benefit of our students and our families and our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I see Ms. Rogers still here. Is there any final comments that you?
Ditto.
Great
Okay.
job to everybody.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we hope that you have a wonderful day, and we hope it's not too long before we see you again. Take care.
Hello? Hello? Ma'am? Hi. I know you can hear me now because
Go ahead.
I went ahead and did the updates. I'm sorry, just as I am kind of learning on the Zoom thing because I'm not really familiar. So thank you for being patient and bearing with me. I'm just one of the concerning parents. And pretty much in a nutshell, I just wanted to talk about before you guys all leave. I completely understand. I'm open-minded and respectful of what was being talked about, and just also asking to be mindful, like she said, that a lot to take in and learn from as well, and see what we can go to do in order for us to move forward. And by saying that, I wanted to touch bases on the fact that, like, sometimes the students, just as the teachers, are not familiar with, like, let's say new tablets given to the students. Like one of my child is in middle school now, and the type of technology that my kid has to kind of start learning from, it's an additional learning process for them. So it's kind of like not holding them back, but just giving them more time consuming on having to go about turning in projects, turning in whatever assignment. And therefore, even the tools, just like me right now, how it took me long just to unmute it, because obviously I don't have Zoom. I had to do it through my a different program from Google. But regardless of that, like, these are little issues that are very concerning to me, because sometimes, like, I've been getting a lot of messages saying that my kid is not in attendance when my kid's right there. Like, the first week, I was literally sitting by every class with them to make sure that they signed in, that they got a feel of what was going on, or how to go about making sure the teachers, either whether they have the camera on or whether they have the mute on, they're still in class. Their name shows, the assignments are turned in, and some teachers are still marking them absent. So that's one of my concerns there. And so kind of it's a statement and as well as a question on how you guys are going to go about that. Like, the professors not always marking them absent when they're actually not absent or tardy.
Hi, this is Vikendova. Thank you for bringing that concern. I would be concerned as well. It's very understandable. So in that case, what you want to do, have you reached out to the teacher first to say, hey, I know my child participated, because often there might be errors. So if there's an error, we can go back and fix it, no problem. If that doesn't resolve the issue, then you want to speak to your principal to make sure that they are not, that they're marking attendance correctly. Because as long as you participated, then they should be marking you present. You are correct on that.
Okay, because some of the teachers are like making sure that they want to see their faces. Like, sometimes my kids don't have their room up, like, and I tell them, okay, well, I'm gonna put the computer or whatever tablet, I'm gonna put it in this side, so you could actually see them, if at least have them see you in the beginning, and then that way they can't say if you put so they want to, like, not everybody, like right now for the camera, I don't have it on. My kid, I have another child, consistently comes in and out, a toddler. So then, like, I don't want all those distractions. Just like him, for example, if there's distractions around him, obviously I don't, I just want him to hear the teacher, focus on what he's supposed to be doing online if they're walking them through, and not so much distraction. Is like, I don't see why is it that some of the teachers are still not marking them. And I did go through the step that you indicated. I actually spoke to the vice principal. And so, I mean, the first week they try to fix it. And then the second week, I know you guys had technology issues throughout the beginning of that week. And now it's kind of still consistent on it's happening. And I've been touching bases with pretty much every single professor. And I don't want to say it's tedious for them or us, but it's just the fact that we're trying to do our best, our part as parent. Obviously, no one likes to have a microscopic boss behind their back, and that's the way I feel. I don't want to stress my kids out. I know that we're all giving them this responsibility because obviously it's their responsibility. And yes, I understand it's new and we're all trying to adapt in a timely manner, but it's just kind of already we're on the 3rd week and I'm still getting this, and it's frustrating as a parent.
Absolutely understandable. Can you email me? I just put my email address in the chat. Can you email me your name and the school information so that I can contact your school? I want to make sure they're doing attendance correctly. Just because your child does not have the camera on, that is not a reason to mark someone absent. And I understand that teachers really want the kids to be engaged. I get it. But that should not affect an absenteeism. So I just want to make sure my communication has been clear with the site. So I can clear that up for you. Let me work with you. Please email me your name and a little bit of that information. I will absolutely help you solve that issue.
Okay, I appreciate it, Ms. How do you pronounce your last name?
Bicondova.
Bicondova. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so then I appreciate it. Thanks for being patient and listening clearly to what my stressful issues and concerns were about. So then moving forward, are you in general for everybody in the San Bernardino district, or are you just for certain middle school, high school? What is it?
Yeah, I'm the director of development, so I'm over attendance for the entire district, so I can absolutely help you.
Okay. I'm gonna when I can just go log on the website and look you up and have your email address there, so I can just email you from there.
Yes, I also put it in the chat right now. If you're able to see the chat, I put my email address there. It's just marlene.bicondova@sbcusd.k12.ca. But yeah, and you can find me. You're not able to see the chat.
Okay, I'll go forward from there, and then I'll just give you more feedback on everything else that I was kind of questioning. But I don't want to take everybody's time. I know everybody wanted to just already log off because our time kind of ran on. But I appreciate it for taking me in, and hopefully with this COVID, we all are better aware of what's ways to improve ourselves, as well as not just as a parent but instructor, and try to work with each other in ways to better the children's for their future, obviously. And one last question, for the teachers, what are the timeframes that every teacher should be? Does it matter on whether it's middle school or high school, just so I can get an idea?
The timeframes
for each class.
Yeah, every school has a schedule in the district. The start and end times are the same as last year, but their schedule is definitely different for each school.
Okay, but give or take approximately, we're talking about they should be seeing each instructor for about 15, 20, 25 minutes.
Can somebody speak to that?
It's actually different.
Can you mute yourself, because
I'm sorry, my kid is, you see, this is a reason I have.
It's okay, we're here to help you, Liz, and if anything, Dr. Bicondova is the person to go to for attendance. So if you have any questions, you have her email, and then we're going to ask Ms. Doizon, who is in charge of elementary instruction, to address the minutes if possible.
Actually, she mentioned middle and high, so I know Suda's ready. That's okay.
Sorry.
So as Ms. Bicondova said, we have different structures that are put in place in different school sites. And yes, each teacher offers a certain minutes of live instruction. That live instruction does not necessarily mean that the teachers are in front of the students all the time, but they're interacting with the students in different capacity. It could be through projects, it could be groups, it could be under different conditions. And the teachers are aware of what constitutes live instruction and what is not. And teachers use that as the foundation to work with the students. And it is very different. The number of minutes that are required are different for a middle school to a high school or to an elementary. That is one of the reasons you would see if you have 3 students in different grade levels, you would see that the interaction is different. And especially if it's in high school, sometimes the subjects rotate. Today you may see it in English and tomorrow you might see it in math, and like the rotation happens. And even between high schools, it might be a different way they do it.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. And all you guys take care. I don't know if you guys are gonna, that was pretty much my last question.
I just want to thank you for your perseverance, Liz. I heard you say that you were struggling to get in. And so we definitely want to support and honor your efforts, and know that we're here to support you. Okay. So when you need anything, just, you have Mrs. Bikendova, she can help you as well as anybody else here. But I just, I wanted to make that comment. I hear you, you have your baby right there and you're like, I'm going to get my questions answered. And I appreciate that.
I'm multitasking. And then, I mean, that's the reason why I understand the, you know, the stress that the kids are having to kind of go through in regards to having to learn and adapt to this new system. Not only that, but what's going on in the world. But of course, like I said, it's just a step at a stone, and you know, it's just a matter of handling it in the proper manner, not just for us, but for the children's benefit, and also for you teachers that are also consider their heroes. Sorry, excuse my. But for that reason, I mean, obviously, you know, they look forward to, you know, having an adult mentor to look up to make sure you guys are, you know, being able to be there for the children, and for you guys' jobs, you know. And not only that, but it's, you know, having to work through this COVID, it's, you know, it's been a hardship for everybody. And of course, in some way or another, you know, it's touch people's lives in some various ways. So for that reason, I just wanted to appreciate that you guys are concerning with the making sure that the kids are their well-being is put there first before anything, and still implementing the education system that is needed for them, as well as for the instructors and in general. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, with that, everyone, have a wonderful day and see you soon.
Right back. Okay, have a good one. Bye, you guys.